Welcome to tonight's 5 on 5. Joining us live now, Republican Congressman Greg Walden of Oregon. Thank you very much. And California Congressman Kevin McCarthy, the majority whip in Congress. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me.
Good to be with you.
All right, let's start this week. You've been talking about the repeal of 1099, the attachment to the health care bill, which would require businesses, it would have required them to file tax forms on any transactions over $600 for the year. Congressman McCarthy, we'll start with you. You fought the repeal. It is you called it a job killer, but those who favor it said it would add a tax revenue. How would you respond to that?
Well, add a tax revenue, but it'll hurt business. So if you're a small business, if you do $600, even accumulate that with someone, you have to fill out paperwork to send to IRS, who said they don't even have anybody to read it, let no one do anything about it. This regulation is hurting small business. Being a former small business owner, just as Greg was, this is burdensome. And so we need to unshackle these burdens that are on small business to actually let them produce.
And Congressman Walden, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. You said that 1099 is one of those riders on a bills that shouldn't exist, but most every piece of legislation, it seems like, for as long as we could think of, bills get passed, can't get passed without it. Have you been a part of any of those riders in the past, and if so, do you regret it in any way?
Well, look, this is a bill that was put together in the dark of night in Harry Reid's office, and the House wasn't even allowed to consider it under Nancy Pelosi's speakership, and that's part of what Americans said I had enough of, and why in the transition that I chaired, we rewrote how the House operates so it doesn't happen again. Even the President of the United States said on this issue that it needed to be repealed. He said that in the State of the Union address. And we're breaking these issues up one at a time now. We're slowing down the process so that you've got time to read the bills and understand them. This would have quintupled the filings of the IRS. Small business owner, it drives you crazy to get these mandates from the government that cost you more than the revenue that's going to be raised. And that's what we're trying to change the culture in Washington to stop this from happening again.
And Congressman McCarthy, everyone's been talking about, let's reach across the aisle. It's a popular thing to say right now. Is it happening, and is it effective if it does?
Well, I think it's happening from a lot of different aspects. I mean, if you just look at this week's vote, the vote to continue funding of government, which Republicans put the plan together, put it before Congress, there were more Democrats who voted for it, 104, than voted against it. Then you look at this 1099, more than 300 members of Congress voted for it. So if you're looking, if the legislation is right, given the work that Greg did to open up the floor, we have an opportunity where ideas win. And you look at the votes, it has been working so far.
All right, well, thank you again for joining me. We'll have a few more questions for you here in just a few minutes, so stick around. More 5 on 5 right after this break.